Hi, my name is Michael Sahno. I'm Jewish and I love Israel. So if you love Israel, if you love being Jewish, or if you have an unwavering connection to the land of Israel, then you're in the right place. Welcome to the 12 Cities in Israel podcast. Shalom, shalom, shalom. Hey, what's going on? My name is Michael Sahno. Welcome to another episode of the 12 Cities in Israel podcast. I think this is episode number 58. I'm back. My last episode was basically welcome back. So here I am again in my brand new studio. Bunch of cool things going on. Bunch of interesting things going on. But before we get into that, hit the like and the subscribe button. And don't forget to hit the little bell if you're watching on YouTube. Do all those things, like, subscribe, hit the bell, so that you are getting all the brand new episodes. All right, with that out of the way, welcome. I wanted to start the episode with a couple of shout outs. So I did I haven't done this in a while. It's been what has it been? It's been since July, I think, and that's when the Amit Sagi interview episode, my last of the Israel interviews, came out. And I wanted to do a bunch of shout outs last episode, but I had so many people I had to give shout outs to. I forgot a bunch of them. One of them, a huge one, Rabbi Cohen, who I got a brand new soundboard. So I got a Zoom soundboard. I used to have what's called the Rodecaster, which is really good. And it's an amazing soundboard for making podcasts. Good job. It's really simple, easy to use, but I couldn't hook up audio. And I was having to sit there for hours trying to sync the audio to my moving, flapping lips. So I needed to get workflow a little bit streamlined. So I bought a new board, the Zoom Live Track L8, which made my sound engineer, Bigash, shout out to Bigash, Rachel Villegas, one of my alumni friends from City College in New York. Go Beavers! Amy Kraka, Terry Wasserman, Roy Middleman, Shani Greenstein, all you guys, love you. And so I gave it to him with a couple of microphones, and he's got a podcast. And when I find out what the name of that is, because I got to give him a call. Actually, I got to give him a call maybe today. But a shout out to Rabbi Cohen, Baruch Hashem Aki. And another shout out to the illustrious Malka Reisner. She is the international relations liaison. That's what she does. I don't know if that's her title, for the city of Beersheba in southern Israel. And she's a koti. She's my sister. She's just someone that I know. If I pick up the phone, she will always answer, no matter what time of day. So she's a rock star. She's super busy, and she's one of the integral people who's responsible for ensuring that Beersheba has grown as much as it has. For those of you who don't know, Beersheba is I live in New York, but Beersheba is my home in Israel. And a lot of that has to do with Ben Gurion University. Shout out to Lila Perlman. What up? And Nili, Caine, who I met there, who actually works on this show and works for the flashcard portion of what we're doing as well. But Beersheba is just, it's home. So a shout out to Malka Reisner. Another shout out I have to do is to Ilanit Ram, and she is the general manager of the Sea Executive Suites in Tel Aviv, right on the beach. It's on the same block as what? It's on the same block as the consulate, the U.S. consulate in Tel Aviv, right there on the beach. And her and the team of amazing people, amazing women and men who just make that place such, just, I mean, everything. They have this breakfast. I've had shakshuka a couple of times in the morning there for breakfast. It's just, what? The place is amazing. So the Sea Executive Suites, if you're watching the YouTube version of this, I'm gonna put the URL at the bottom of the screen. You gotta go there. You gotta stay at least one night. But yeah, so Ilanit Ram Baruch Hashem Akoti. Okay, so that's shout out to you guys. Also, I want to give a shout out to the people at Neviot who helped make those interviews possible. And they are Mayan Bronstein, who is she's one of the managers there, and she's the one who gave the okay for me to use Neviot, because I was buying Neviot on my own from a place called Makolet Online, and she allowed me to use it in my podcast. I'm going to start doing that again. I just want to double check and make sure it's okay. And I've got to get the Neviot from Makolet Online. I have an order in and they haven't sent it. But that, I think a lot of that has to do, they're in New Jersey, so it has something to do with the COVID thing. So, but Mayan Bronstein and Olga Pertsovsky, and I wanted to get that right because normally it's like you read something and it's like Petrovsky, but it's not Petrovsky, it's Pertsovsky, and I screwed that up a couple of times. And Olga, you are a rock star. She's the one who got the water. So a funny little story about when I was doing the when I was doing the interviews, I had to grab my phone because I wanted to, not because I'm getting on the phone, but because I want to talk to you guys about the interviews, and the information I need is on my Instagram feed. So, I talked to Mayan. Mayan sent the request over to Olga, who fulfilled it and sent me over, I think it was 8 cases of water. And I was like, I knew some water was coming. And no matter how much came, I was going to be eternally grateful. But when I got there and I checked into the hotel, I said, I ordered some water. Did it from Neviot? Did it come? And the young woman's eyes got huge. She's like, oh my gosh, so much of it came. And there's a new flavor, and we're so excited. We haven't even seen it yet, and so I wound up giving the people at Sea Executive Suites a bunch of water. But Mayan and Olga, thank you so much for helping make this just amazing project come to fruition, become a reality. So I'm blown away by it. I'm blown away by the graciousness. So I wanted to talk, last time I had mentioned that I wanted to talk about a couple of the interviews, and I want you to go over to the YouTube channel, and you can check all of them out. It's a photo of me on the left and a photo of the person that I interview on the right. And these people are amazing. These people are fabulous. So I'm going to go through and just read off their name and read off who they are. Some of them are friends. So the relationship, how I wound up sitting with them, is very personal, and it comes out in that interview. And it's such a warm conversation. Give me a second. Peter, this is for you. Having a little bit of Jacob's coffee. Give me a second. I'm going to have a sip. That was a big slurp. Sorry about that. All right. So, let's take a look. Let's scroll through, because what I do is on the Instagram page, which is at 12 cities in Israel, the number 12 cities in Israel. What I do is I release every podcast Sunday night. It goes up on SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, TuneIn, and Spotify. And I also upload it to YouTube on Sunday evening. And then Monday, during that, what they call the Instagram sweet spot, I send out the what is it? The thumbnail for the podcast as it goes up on SoundCloud. The thumbnail that appears on SoundCloud appears on my Instagram feed that Monday. The first one is Mayachi Moti Biton, who is the manager of the Gimel dorms at Ben Gurion University in Beersheba. He is, being a parent himself, he's also the parent to all of the young men and women who come to study from Israel and abroad and stay at Gimel dorms. He has become a lifelong friend from the moment I met him. I thought about that lifelong friend. I've only known him so many years, but I feel as if I've known him. I feel as if our mothers are the same, because there's so much about us that is just in lockstep. He and his family are my heart, and the same goes the other way. So he's my first interview. I actually went down to Beersheba and did that interview in an Airbnb that I stayed in, and it was a lot of fun. It was really quick, really like just sit down, shalom, 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 and we started talking. The next one is Alexandra Zaslav, and she is a ballerina and works with an NGO a nonprofit that promotes dialogue between young Arab and Israeli children through dance. And she is a studied ballerina and dancer, and she was just amazing. I met her at Ben Gurion University at the Old Palm program, and it was awesome talking to her. Again, you're going to notice a lot of these are relations through Ben Gurion University, but are not necessarily related to Ben Gurion University in the subject of the episode. The next one is Anat Cohen, and she it's funny because I had never met her. I had met her father, and he has a company, Harel Insurance, and they sell insurance so that students are able to access the healthcare system in Israel while they're there for 30 days. What is it? I think it's 4 weeks, 6 weeks, and semester and year-long programs. And Harel Insurance, her father, and now her, run that, and every time I travel, I get insurance through them. But I brought her on to talk about that, but I also brought her on to talk about the healthcare system in Israel, which is fascinating because it's unlike the nationalized healthcare that I've seen in some places. Like in England, nationalized healthcare is done solely, from what I understand. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, tell me too. Text me in the comments. Hit me up in the comments. Email me, whatever. But what Israel does, what Great Britain does, is they have a national program. What Israel does is you pay into one of the 3 large insurance providers, and you get health insurance through them, and but everything that they give you has to be along the lines of the national law. It's pretty interesting. I'm not going to go into it because I want you to go and check out that episode. It's pretty fascinating. I learned a lot of things about it that I had no idea. Wow. The next one that I released was Rivka Karmi, Dr. Rivka Karmi, professor Rivka. So, all right. So in America, doctor is the higher title over professor, but in Israel, professor is a higher title over doctor academically. So she is the former president of Ben Gurion University, again, Ben Gurion University. And she is also a geneticist who discovered numerous genes. So genes that were never known before in the history of mankind. She discovered them. She also did a bunch of outreach. I think she actually continues to do this outreach to the Bedouin community for women's health, and she's fascinating. She's probably one of the smartest people I've ever met in my entire life, and I could say it's a pleasure to have spoken with her, but more than that, it's an honor to just be in the presence of that kind of economic or academic that that kind of academic brilliance. So yeah, the after that I spoke with Edith Schlanger. So I met Edith Schlanger as an association through Facebook or Instagram of another friend of mine, Daniel Seaman, who was at the Voice of Israel radio network. And I brought her on because I wanted to know about not necessarily the situation, but the situation of what it's like being a woman, a professional woman in the workplace in Israel. What are the challenges? How does she perceive it to be different from the way the media portrays it in the U.S. Or the West? And just to give me the straight dope on what it's like to be a professional woman in Israel. And it was a fascinating conversation. It was a little not concerning, but being a man, I'm male, it's sometimes difficult for men to feel comfortable discussing these topics with women, frankly. You know what I mean? But she is a just incredibly articulate, objective individual, wholly professional, and we were able to cover the topic in a way that I didn't even think was possible. So Edith, you rock. And she's got a great Instagram feed, and she's super active, man. You gotta take a break. Just kidding. Then I spoke to Mark Rosenberg, who is with Nefesh B'Nefesh. He told me a lot about the Aliyah process and his journey with Aliyah and bringing others to Israel, and it was fascinating. He is just a wealth of information on Aliyah, and if anyone has any questions or concerns, let me know, and I'll see what I can do to reach out to him and get those questions answered. I also want to have a lot of these people back. So another person that I spoke to was Faye Goldstein. Now, Faye Goldstein was in charge of this organization when I was in college called United Hasbara, and it was about putting out an alternative to the media's narrative on Israel. And she made Aliyah, joined the army, and it was sudden too. The last time I spoke to her was at an Nefesh B'Nefesh Aliyah event, fair, convention, whatever. And all of a sudden, I'm getting this Instagram post that I made Aliyah and I joined the army. Boom. So I was able to get in touch with her, and we spoke. And I had actually never met her, but I had known her from a distance and through a bunch of other friends. So it was a pleasure meeting her. And watch that, because she has got the she's got her life locked down. And it's really impressive to see someone who is so in control of their own destiny. And you'll know exactly what I'm talking about when you watch it. So I'm not going to say anything more about that. But Faye, it was awesome to have you on. I spoke with Nili Caine. Nili Caine, who I mentioned earlier, is helping with this project and the flashcards and all that stuff. And she is just one of the best friends that a person could ask for. She was, when I met her, the liaison between the student liaison between international students and Ben Gurion University. And it's funny because I just spoke to her yesterday. I call her once every week, once every 2 weeks. And she was doing her reserve duty. And she's so awesome because she's in the middle of doing her army duty. And I say, oh, I'm sorry. I can call you back. No, I'll make time. Dude, how awesome is that? That is the best a friend can be. So check out that. She's a school teacher now, a high school teacher. She teaches English. And we talk about the education system from her perspective in Israel and a bunch of other fun stuff. So, yeah, you want to check that one out. I talked to Molly Livingstone, who I mentioned her last week, and she is a stand-up comedian, and I know her because of Daniel Seaman, and she was part of a group of people at Voice of Israel, and she talks about her time there. And some of the stuff that wasn't in the news, not negative, but just a lot of fun stuff. She is, very few people can make me, no, that's not true. A lot of people can make me laugh, but she can genuinely make me laugh from a place that very few people can make me laugh from. And she's a rock star. She really is. She's so much fun. And she was pregnant when she came and recorded the episode. About a week later, texts me a photo of her brand new baby. So, Mazel Tov. And, so check that episode out. She's a rock star. Lila Perlman, who is she's the student coordinator for BGU International, the international program at Ben Gurion University. And she's awesome. She took care of me. She was like a sister to me when I was there. And I went to Ulpan twice, and she was she's another person who's got it locked down. Anything you need. Oh, you need to do this. Oh, this is where you need to go. No problem. I was talking about a program, an MBA program, master's in business. And while I'm sitting there the last time I was in Israel, and we're sitting around a table with a bunch of people, and she goes, here. And I go, what? She goes, I have the head of the program on the phone right now. She wants to talk to you. What? Holy cow. So she's like, can pull a rabbit out of a hat. She's awesome. And she talks about the program. And it was amazing to talk to her. Now, Bianca Zanini was someone I interviewed, and I'm gonna wrap this up. There were only a couple more of them. Bianca Zanini is a newscaster, a journalist for I-24 News in Tel Aviv, and she is from Brazil. Fascinating. Really fun to talk to, and she gave me the best compliment. She gave me kudos on my interview of her, and she's a journalist. So, and she's done a bunch of documentaries, and it was it's like getting, getting props from someone in the industry is just, I don't know. It can't be compared. You know what I mean? I also interviewed General Doron Almog. Now I was scared to go into that one. I was really nervous to go into that one. This man was the first person off the plane at Entebbe, the raided Entebbe, to save the hostages. And he and his unit took when they took the airfield, his unit took the tower, the what do you call it? The air control tower. This guy's a hero. He's been in every major conflict. And having been in the military, it's like talking to Moshe Dayan or General MacArthur. I mean, this guy is just a living legend, and I got to sit across the table from him. But what's most amazing about him is he gave all that up to take care of his special needs son, who was severely mentally disabled. And he put all of his energy into developing a special needs village, a home, with where special needs, not just children, everyone can come and get service and have a home, in a place with no issues, no problems. It's their home. So it was wow. It was, I to have words to meet. It's like meeting, I don't know what it's like meeting. It's like meeting General MacArthur or Moshe Dayan or Ben Gurion so it was profound, tremendous, and an absolute honor. The next person I interviewed was Hadar Rabinovich, and I was getting her name wrong all the time, and calling her Rabinovich, but she was okay with that. But Hadar, she is an artist who runs a studio and uses her art to actually help people with the problems in their lives. And she does tremendous work down in Beersheba. She's a personal friend. She was on the what do you call it? She was on the Food and Fun in Beersheba half-hour travel show episode of 12 Cities in Israel when I started this thing. I've known her since then. And she's awesome. She again is like a sister to me. She's beautiful in so many ways. And you watch that interview, you're going to see two people who were right online with each other. Please definitely check it out, because she's a fascinating, amazing person. Wow. Chana Mason was the next one that I interviewed. And so Chana Mason and Dave Mason are both authors. And she is a self-help, guru's not a good, she's a self-help, person. Yeah. She helps people, with her, how do I describe it? Hold on. Let me read this. So, she is a vitality coach. That's it. I couldn't remember because I'd never heard the phrase before. She coined it. That's awesome. She's a vitality coach who teaches people how to get over the roadblocks that they put in their way, psychologically, subconsciously. And she actually helped me directly in that episode. I'm not going to tell you with what. You got to watch the episode. But she has such insight into the human mind and is able to just pull out the things that are holding you back. She's able to help you pull out the things that are holding you back. And the abilities that she has are just absolutely amazing. And it is an ability. It's a developed ability to gain insight into what makes people tick, and she can really hone in on what makes you tick. Now, her husband writes he writes fiction that takes place, and I'm not going to tell you about the book Lamp of Darkness. I'm going to tell you the name of the book, Lamp of Darkness, and it's phenomenal. It takes place during, I think, was it the Judges? I think it takes place during the Judges' time or the King's time. But it's amazing. It's fascinating. It's like if you took Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings and you mixed it together with the Torah. And it is just fascinating. His ability to just put you there. I read his book in 2 days. And I'm a fast reader, but come on. It was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. My next interview was Yossi Hertz. Yossi Hertz made Aliyah. I went to college with Yossi at City College of New York. Again, go Beavers. Boom. And we caught up. He made Aliyah. I found out about it and was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. I can't believe you're here. And he came in and had one of the best sit-down conversations. Now, the reason that's important is because Yossi and I spent hours, sometimes even ditch class, to just sit and talk about everything from Israeli politics, Jewish life in America. Oh my gosh, just everything. And I was blessed with the opportunity to have one of those conversations again in front of a camera for one of the special, most special projects that I could give to the world, showing them Israel through the voices of real Israelis. And now he's one. And just to capture that moment is indescribable. You got to check it out. The last interview I did was with Amit Sagi. And I've mentioned that before. He is the bassist for Hatikva Shesh. And they are tremendous. They're this reggae pop band that's really popular in Israel and in Jewish circles in the United States. And I got to sit with him. Now, he is also an amazing, profound producer who has worked with all kinds of different acts. I'm not going to mention them because I mentioned them in the interview, and I want you to go check it out. But that's like for me, it's like sitting across from Elvis. So it was, wow. And he's so humble and so chill. And I'm saying, I really can't believe I'm sitting. And he's like, oh, man, don't worry about it. It's cool. It's just, what? So in recapping, I got to meet all these wonderful people. And now you get to meet all these wonderful people. Go over to the YouTube, to the 12 Cities in Israel YouTube channel. Check it out. You're gonna see some really amazing conversations. You're going to meet some really amazing people. And yeah, so that's my pitch. All right, so that's pretty much it. That's it. I'm doing half hours now. I'm kind of trimming it down a little bit to so that it's more digestible. But basically that's it. Check us out on our you can find this podcast on YouTube, SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, TuneIn, and Spotify. So go to those places. If you want to download it, you can subscribe to it. Get the feed weekly. With YouTube, again, hit the like this episode, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you get all the brand new episodes. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and yeah, that's pretty much it. All right, you guys. Toda rava, להתראות ויאללה ביי. היא אחת ויחידה, בכל זאת לבדה, אין אחד שבא אליה לבקש את ידה, ובתסוגר עליה בליבה
לחישה בלילה והיא איננה גם שרחוקה היא ממני
זיכרונה עולה שוב בליבי הלילה איך אותה רציתי כל חיי
ידי בידה ולאור ירח עוד יאיר לי כוכב
היא תבוא אליי ליבה פורח כל ימי אותה אוהב
רק זאת ביקשתי בידה אחזתי היא כמו חלום שלא נגמר
רק זאת שאלתי שליבי נתתי הושעתי לפרח אני שם